Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how to make this Christmas card. The cardstock you need to start off with is a piece of soft suede that measures 5 3/4 by 8 1/4, scored and folded down the middle. You need a piece of Whisper White which measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/2 inches, a soft suede layer that measures 3 3/4 by 5 3/8. Then the smaller pieces are Whisper White 2 1/2 by 3 1/4, soft suede 2 3/8 by 3 1/8, and then Whisper White 2 1/8 by 2 7/8. So to start off with, we're going to use the soft suede layer, and our stamp is going to be the hardwood stamp. I'm going to use crumb cake ink rather than doing soft suede, which would be tone on tone. I'm using crumb cake because I don't want the hardwood to be too dark, too much in your face, if you like. So what I do with a large stamp like this, once I've inked it up, I'll bring it towards me a bit so I can get it level. I lay my cardstock on top. Obviously, because this has got lines on it, I need it to be fairly straight, and then I just rub over with my hand. It's much easier than trying to put the stamp on top of the cardstock. That looks quite dark at the moment, but it will dry a lot lighter. As in true Blue Peter style, here's one that I made earlier, and I've actually adhered all my layers to my card. The next three pieces, with the smaller piece, I need to stamp the image, and the image I'm using, excuse me, is the Santa Claus coming down the chimney from the Get Your Santa On stamp set. It's a photopolymer set, which is lovely for being able to see through, and I'm going to stamp that onto my cardstock using early espresso ink. When I do any colouring, which I have to say isn't very often, I do prefer to use early espresso rather than black. Sometimes I think black is just a bit too hard. And then just line it up. I hope this is going to go down straight. Not terribly straight, but fortunately I'd already made one earlier. Once you've stamped this out and you cut it in half lengthways and across, you need to adhere it to your next two layers, which I've already put together, and I've already painted mine and cut them. The colours, I've done this 3 times, and I have used slightly different colours for the fireplace, but basically I've used Wild Wasabi for the green, I've used Real Red for the berries, I've used Crushed Curry for the flames on the candles, Early Espresso for the candle holders, and the main part of the fireplace here I've used Sahara Sand, and for the inside I've used Crumb Cake and Basic Grey for Santa's boots. Now I need to adhere this onto my card base here, and I'm going to use wet glue because it will give me a bit of time. As you can see, I've reused this one. Just a little bit of Tombow glue on the back, and then I'm going to put this as close in this corner as I can. Then I'm going to take the piece that goes by the side of it, and again line that up as closely in the corner as possible. And I'll show you two of the cards that I've made. And the first one I did, it had such a thin border, I really wasn't happy with it at all. The next one I made was slightly wider, and this one is wider still. It is a matter of choice, but it is meant to look like you're looking through a window into the living room, and therefore it needs a reasonable gap there. In fact, this is the biggest gap, and I think I like this one best. But I'll show you so that you can decide for yourselves which one suits you. There we go. And I'm going to adhere that to my card front by using dimensionals. And I'm going to use one in each corner and one in the centre. One of the really nice things about this Tombow glue is I can leave it like that without the lid on, and it's not going to dry up or clog up, whereas other glues I've used I've had to be really very careful. Right, excuse me while I just hold this up to do my best to get straight lines here. There we go. Do you know, I do think that I prefer that the bigger gap. The sentiment that I'm using, again, it's two that I've chosen from Get Your Santa On, and the first one I've done is Chimney Delivery, and then underneath I've put For All Good Things That Christmas Brings, and I've put them onto one stamp. I'm going to use soft suede for this, and I've got a scrap of Whisper White here. Now, so I'm going to punch this out. It's no great shakes if I get it a little bit crooked, as long as I get my punch on there without going off the edges. And just line that up in the decorative label punch, I believe this one's called. There we go. And I'm going to lay that flat on my card. I'm not going to pop that up at all. And again, I'll use Tombow for that. Just line these points here up with the window frame. There we go, that's my card. So the first one I did with the very narrow gap was that one, and the second one I did was that one. So I don't know. I think the jury is out on this, as the saying goes. What do you think? I really would like to know. I think I prefer this one. Definitely not that one. Possibly that. But there we go. All a matter of a choice. Nothing's right or wrong with your creations. Anyway, thank you very much for watching my video. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'll be happy to help you. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you'd like to purchase any of the products you've seen me using here today, please visit my website, www.janbcards.com. www.janbcards.com. And click on the link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. Many thanks for joining me today. Happy crafting. Until next time, cheerio.